Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Besides your mother-in-law's desert dry and hard-as-nails meatloaf that you gotta drown in homemade lumpy gravy just to be able to swallow it, meatloaf is simply delicious and a food that almost everyone finds comforting. If you want to kick your typical oven-baked meatloaf up a notch, smoke it, it's even better. But if you want to kick it up a few more notches, add your favorite barbecue rub and your favorite barbecue sauce to your go-to meatloaf recipe, then you wrap it in bacon, and then for that extra notch grand finale, you cook it on your barbecue grill or smoker for a mouth-watering barbecue meatloaf that'll make you want to smack yourself and then smack your mama. So let's get started and make this bacon-wrapped barbecue meatloaf. In a large bowl, add 2 large eggs. And then whip them like they stole your lunch money with a spoon? Why we use a spoon to show these eggs who's boss baffles me. Of all things we could have used, we use a spoon? Why? So after your eggs have been thoroughly spooned, squeeze in some homegrown, freshly chopped garlic right out of the tube. Then add Worcestershire sauce. And please, only use Lea & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Don't be cheap and skimp on the woos. There is a difference. Next, add your favorite barbecue sauce. Any barbecue sauce you normally like to eat will work. For this meatloaf, I'm using Firebug mild grilling sauce, which has some sweet and some heat. It's pretty good stuff. After the barbecue sauce, add your favorite barbecue rub. Any rub will work if it's one you normally like. Today I'm using Plowboy's Bovine Bold, which is pretty darn tasty. If you want a full list of ingredients and the amounts used in this recipe, visit thewolfpit.com for a full printable recipe. Now add some chopped bell pepper and chopped onion. And as you can see, I like my peppers and onions in pretty big pieces. If you want them smaller, cut them smaller. Or if you like the flavor of them but you don't like the texture, run them in a food processor. You are the oaf of your loaf, so make it how you like. How do you like that one, Chef John? You can also add mushrooms or any other vegetables you like in your meatloaf. Finally, we need a binder, so I'm adding some breadcrumbs. These are Italian breadcrumbs because that's all I had, and I wasn't going to buy breadcrumbs just for this recipe. If you don't have any breadcrumbs, break up some crackers or a couple pieces of bread. That'll work fine. All you need is a little bit to help hold your loaf together. Now, use the very intimidating whipping spoon and thoroughly mix everything together. Once everything's mixed well, add your meat. And today, I'm just using 80-20 ground chuck. Sometimes I'll add ground pork or sausage to the ground beef. Whatever meat or meats you normally use in your meatloaf will work just fine. By breaking up the ground beef in smaller pieces like I'm doing now, it'll let you work the meat less when you mix it, which in the end will give you a more tender and airy meatloaf, versus a tough and dense meatloaf like your mother-in-law's. My way of thinking is the meatloaf should just barely hold together, just enough to slice. Then if it falls apart a bit on your plate, it's okay. Once all the meat is in the bowl, give it a thorough but gentle mix, folding and mixing at the same time. Once everything is thoroughly mixed up, dump your glob of meat onto some heavy-duty aluminum foil. Now you can form it in whatever shape you like. I like to keep it simple and just form it into a regular loaf. Once it's formed to your liking, take strips of thin-cut bacon and begin to wrap your meatloaf, overlapping each piece. Once you have several slices down, tuck the bacon under the meatloaf like you're tucking in a baby. Once you have your meatloaf entirely wrapped in bacon, sprinkle on a little bit more barbecue rub if you like. Then it goes into the refrigerator to firm up for at least an hour or even overnight. Now while your loaf is loafing in the fridge, get your grill or smoker ready. Of course, you could also do this in the oven. Set your grill or smoker up for indirect cooking and get it preheated to 325 degrees. Today, I'm using my Yoder YS640 pellet cooker, but any grill or smoker will work just fine. Once your grill is up to and settled in at temperature, it's time to add the meatloaf. I leave the meatloaf on the piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil to make transferring on and off the grill a breeze. Now if you have a side dish you want to cook with the meatloaf, now's the time to put it on. I throw on a tray of the best frozen macaroni and cheese on the planet, Cracker Barrel sharp cheddar mac and cheese. If you want to see how good that macaroni and cheese was, click on the link in the top right-hand corner. Now close the lid and let the meatloaf smoke at 325 degrees until it reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees. Do you ever feel like you're being watched? After an hour and a half at 325 degrees, our meatloaf is looking good and coming along nicely. So to make it look extra pretty and give it another layer of flavor, brush on a light coat of barbecue sauce. Then let it go for another 30 minutes or so. Okay, Mr. Fox, I don't care what you say. This is my meatloaf. After smoking at 325 degrees for 2 hours, our meatloaf is up to temp and looking really good. So slide it off the grill and let it rest for 20 minutes or so before slicing. After you slice it as thick or as thin as you like, make it look extra pretty on the tray before diving in. And there you have it, bacon wrapped barbecue meatloaf. Like I said in the beginning, I love those big chunks of peppers and onions in my meatloaf, especially the next day for a cold meatloaf sandwich. But you cut your veggies however you like them and add any kind of veggies you like. Either way, this will be the best meatloaf you've ever had. It's sweet and smoky, moist and tender, but most of all, it's delicious. And it's easy to make. If you'd like to help support the Wolfe Pit, consider being a patron. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. That's only $12 for the whole year. Or you can pledge more. That's up to you. Either way, every little bit's appreciated and helps me produce more high-quality videos more often for you, the people. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you give this recipe a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.